let's talk about Apex Legends. I am a huge fan of Apex Legends. I love the game, but I have a weird kind of love-hate relationship with it the same way that I do with games like Overwatch. I adore the core gameplay of Apex Legends. I love the game design. I love the sandbox. I love the universe. I'm also just a huge Titanfall fanboy. And I loved Apex Legends. I've put a ton of time into it. It's one of my go-to games, but like most people, I absolutely do not think the game is perfect, and I think there's a lot of really obvious issues with it that I was hoping would get fixed. Which is why this most recent update, patch 1.1.1, I was hoping that this would kind of fix things, but it really didn't. And I guess I never did a thoughts on video like I do for other games or other updates. But I've been meaning to do a thoughts on Apex Legends video, and I figured this was a good time to do it. So after putting a few hours into the latest version of the game and getting a good feel for it, these are my thoughts on the current state of Apex Legends, as well as the things that I think need to change if Respawn and EA actually want this game to be sustainable in the future. For starters, let's get the obvious one out of the way. There's no punishment for leavers. And that's stupid. I know it's a free game. I know it's easy for people to make alt accounts, but there has to be a punishment for leaving. This was literally my first game of the day. My first game on the new patch, both my teammates disconnect, and I had to play it out solo. Apparently, there's been something saying that they're going to add a punishment for leavers, but I don't know why it's not here now. I don't know if there's something wrong. There's so many things with this game where I don't know if there's just something going on with EA not pushing updates, not allowing them to push updates through, or Respawn just not fucking bothering. But this is one of the obvious things that I've already mentioned. This is one of the obvious things that needs to be fixed as soon as possible. There's no punishment for leaving, but at the same time, can you really blame people for leaving when you don't give them alternatives? Because many of the people playing Apex Legends are solo players like myself most of the time, or duo players who don't want to stick around with a bunch of randoms when they die or when they get downed. Which brings me into my next point. Solos and duos are still nowhere to be found. There's not even a word about them from Respawn. And this is one of the biggest issues with the game and why the game is losing players really quickly. You absolutely have to give people more ways to play the game than just trios. I understand that the game is balanced around trios. I understand that this is the way the game is meant to be played, but that doesn't excuse the lack of content here. And because the hero balance is so good right now, the ability balance is good, not the actual hitboxes, which we'll get into, but because the game design is so precise, Respawn has been really hesitant to add solos and duos, but this also means that if you try to play the game without a party of 3, you're just gonna get your asshole ripped open. Because of the way the game is designed, a bad 3-man team can overpower a team of good solo players. There's good players being punished just for not having a team with them. And because Respawn isn't even acknowledging the desire for solos or duos, I don't know what's taking them so long. If Respawn adds a solo and duo playlist, or even just solos, the player counts for Apex Legends will skyrocket. I promise you, they will skyrocket if they add solos, because people want to play this game alone. The vast majority of people who play games online, who play multiplayer shooters, are playing by themselves. Not everyone is partied up, and not everyone is partied up in an exact party of 3. Solos are a necessity. I don't know what's taking them so long. Now, the big change of this last update there were really 2 big changes. Generally speaking, there were changes to the tanks, and there were changes to the weapon balance. And the end result is the game seems to be playing a lot slower. The tank health changes, I think were fine. Although I think it's odd that they didn't touch Pathfinder when everyone knows that his hitbox is plainly broken. I think maybe they just haven't figured out a fix to him yet. But the health changes to Gibraltar and Caustic, I think were fine. I think those are perfectly fine changes to make. I do think it's odd that it's a 10% scaling health change as opposed to just a flat health boost or a flat damage reduction. I find it odd that it's a percentage thing. I guess there's some logic behind that I'm not seeing right now. But the game on it, but the tanks are still some of the least played characters. I played for like 2 hours. I barely saw any tanks. But I guess that's just going to take some time. But also during the time that I've been playing this new update, the game feels a lot slower now. And I don't know if I'm the only one who's noticing that, or maybe it's just because I'm playing at 8:30 in the morning on a fucking Wednesday, so everyone's half asleep. But the game feels a lot slower right now. And I think that has to do with the weapon changes. The Wingman and the Spitfire, two of the most heavily used guns in the game, got nerfed. And I think that has led to a lot of people not really wanting to play aggressive anymore. I absolutely agree with the Spitfire nerf, but what I don't agree with is this seemingly everything must be nerfed mentality that Respawn has. As opposed to buffing the things that are unviable right now, they're just nerfing all of the top tier things. Look, every multiplayer shooter is going to have top tier weapons, and while I do agree that the Spitfire was a little too good and did need to be brought back down to earth a bit, I don't think anything else really needed to be nerfed. I think things needed to be buffed. The Mozambique is the obvious one. The fact that the Mozambique is a fucking meme, and it's been a meme since launch, and Respawn hasn't done anything about it, is just confusing to me. The Mozambique and the P2020 need to be buffed before any other weapon balance changes need to be made. I'm really worried about this game right now, to be honest, because it doesn't look like Apex is actually going about this with the right mentality. It looks like they're trying to make the game easier on casual players, which is not the way to make games grow. We've seen so many games in the last few years just nosedive because the devs keep trying to make them more and more casual. They try to take skill out of it. They try to make the game easier on newer players. They try to reduce the skill gap. But that is not how you make games grow. And one of the big reasons I loved Apex Legends and why I completely jumped ship from Fortnite was because Apex Legends is a game that rewards you for aiming. It rewards you for playing well. It's not like Fortnite where so much of the game is left up to RNG. A lot of this game is RNG, and I'll get into that. But the game is much more rewarding from a shooting standpoint in Apex. And it seems like they're trying to get rid of that. And it all comes back to the fact that you have to play in trios. Right now, winning a 1v3 or even a 1v2 is a really difficult thing to do because of how the way this game is, because of the longer time to kill that this game has, because of the abilities. If you nerf everything and you keep nerfing everything, if you keep trying to bring everything down to the lower levels, it's literally going to be impossible to win 1v3s because there just won't be enough power on the map for you to do so. This is why the lower tier weapons need to be buffed. The upper tier weapons need to stay where they are, the lower tier weapons need to be brought up to where the higher tier weapons are. And while we're on the topic, please, Respawn, guys, improve the fucking weapon spawns. And again, this all goes back to it being a 3-person game and there's no solos. If you drop in and you don't get a gun in 10 seconds, you might as well just back out, because other people have figured out that there's nothing you can do. At first, I really loved the fact that there was quick mobility, there was strong melee attacks, and if you didn't get a gun right off the bat, you can fight your way out if you know what you're doing. But the thing is, people are starting to figure that out. They're starting to land in clumps. People will call it out. Hey, this guy doesn't have a gun, just double team him. And there's literally nothing you can do about that. Also, for the love of God, please fix the melee hitbox. It is so fucking inconsistent. I'm so tired of clicking on someone and punching them from like 10 feet away with the lunge, but then also being right on top of someone, watching my fist hit their face and not getting any damage. If you're going to have an emphasis on melee combat in the early game, it needs to be more consistent. And I know it sounds like I'm just bitching right now, but honestly, I don't know what else to do at this point. A lot of people are not happy with this game. And I feel like I'm bitching about this game in the same way that I bitch about Overwatch, but keep playing it. The core gameplay is so good. It's so polished. It feels great. But there are just so many obvious little things that are not being changed. And that brings me into the cheating. The amount of cheating in this game is ridiculous. It is the most I have seen from a big name release like this. And for those of you saying, oh, it's not, Apex isn't a big name release, fuck that. It's published by EA. This is a big name release. It's published by EA, has what, like 20, 30 million players in the first few weeks? Improve the anti-cheat, for the love of God. And also, how come you can't report your teammates? Why can I not report my teammates if I catch my teammates cheating? How come I can't report my teammates if they're one of those, like, fucking, like, sales bots?
3111195 says 53111195 says WQQ30186943
Get the job done.
53111195 says WQQ30186943.
These are the things that you need to take into account when you're making a free-to-play game like this. This is a problem that was in Fortnite too, but Epic actually did something about it. Granted, they didn't do very much about it, and the cheating in Fortnite is still, you know, a lot worse than it should be for a game of that size, but they at least did something about it when the game came out. I guess what I'm saying is this game has so much potential, but it seems like Respawn just didn't really know what to do. I'm reminded a lot of Blizzard with Overwatch. I've been comparing this game to Overwatch quite a bit, and I feel like I feel like it's kind of the same situation. It's a game that was so, you can tell they really cared about it. You can tell they put so much effort into making it as perfect as it could be. But it also seems like they just didn't really know what to do with it after it came out. And there's some theories about Respawn not being able to patch the game because they're working on Star Wars, which I can understand that, if they could, you know, say something. But then it goes back to how much leeway is appropriate for a situation like this. Blatant problems like hitboxes, like slow motion servers, like just completely unacceptable anti-cheat, like a lack of content, lack of game modes, inconsistent audio with footsteps and enemy footsteps and player footsteps. How much leeway are we supposed to give? How much of this game are we supposed to just accept as, oh, it's a free-to-play game? Oh, they'll update it later. How much are we supposed to really take? Something needs to change with Apex. The Apex Twitter account has over 1 million followers, and the game itself has dozens of millions of registered players. But their announcement of this patch on Twitter after a full day has gotten less than 10,000 likes. There is a serious disconnect between the community of Apex Legends and Respawn. They need to be reaching out to the community more. And honestly, something that bugs me so much about the Apex Twitter account is it seems like they're always just liking and replying and retweeting fans who are like doing fan art, and which is really cool. Fan art is fucking great, and cosplay, they're fucking great. But obviously you guys are active on Twitter. Obviously you guys are seeing what the community is saying. But you're never actually acknowledging criticism of the game, and you're never telling us what's actually coming next. We need communication. The game needs some communication. The game needs some new content. Respawn, you gotta tell us what you guys are going to be doing. You have to acknowledge the criticism of the game, and you have to tell us your plan to fix it, when we can expect fixes, even if it's just a window. Even if you can say, by the end of April, there'll be solos. By the end of spring, there will be some changes. I'll even take that, honestly, because then at that point I know what to expect. At least I know you guys are paying attention. But it seems like Respawn just doesn't really know what to do with the game anymore. And I can understand them being overwhelmed by the success. I don't think anyone expected Apex to blow up the way that it did. But now that things are slowing down, and you see the game slowing down so much, it's about time you guys talked about this stuff. It's about time you added some new content. It's about time you acknowledge these things. It's about time you fixed the problems that have been in the game since day one. It's about time you did something about the cheating that's been ruining the game for a lot of people. I love this game, and that's why I'm so critical of it. And that's why a lot of people are so critical of it, because this game has so much potential. But that's all I gotta say about it right now. I'm really hoping these things get fixed, but thank you guys for listening if you've been here for the whole thing. If you want to hear more of my thoughts in between videos, go ahead and follow me at JoeFromSeattle1 on Twitter. Or if you want to watch me on Twitch, go ahead and check out twitch.tv/JoeFromSeattle. I stream every single day, and it's been a while since I made a stream highlight video. I might, I'm gonna be trying to finish up some of those. I have like 3 or 4 stream highlight videos in the works, but I'm just trying to make them a little longer so they're worth your time. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching.